This is Module 3, Chapter 6.1, 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3. The first section is Chapter 6.1, which is on circles. A circle is a set of points in a plane that are equidistant from a fixed point. The distance is called the radius of the circle, and the fixed point is called the center. So this is the center of the circle, and the distance from the center of the circle to the edge is the radius. And notice it doesn't matter which direction you go, the distance will be the same to any points on the circle. Now, if HK is the center of the circle, R is the radius, and XY is a point on the circle, then by the distance formula, R is equal to the square root of x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. Squaring both sides of this will eliminate the square root sign and give us R squared equals x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. Or if we switch sides, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. And this is what we will refer to as the center radius form of a circle. Now there's two formulas you'll need to know in order to write the equation of a circle. If you know the radius and any center, then we're going to use x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. That's our center radius form. Now if the center is at the origin 0, 0, then x minus h is just x squared. Y minus k is y minus 0, which is y squared, is equal to r squared. So, find the center radius form of the equation of a circle with the radius 6 and a center negative 3, 4. Now remember, the center is always of the form HK. So if we take our formula, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, plugging in we get x minus a negative 3 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 6 squared. Simplifying that will give us x plus 3 squared plus y minus 4 squared is equal to 36. Now because this is center radius form, we do not need to go ahead and multiply all that out. Let's do it again. Find the center radius form of the equation of a circle with the radius of 3 and center 0, 0. Well, because this center is at 0, 0, then we can just use the shortcut form, x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So we'd get x squared plus y squared equals 3 squared, or x squared plus y squared is equal to 9. Okay, let's do it in different type. Find the center radius form of the equation of a circle with center negative 1, 2, passing through the ordered pair 2, 6. So if we were looking at a picture, we've got center at negative 1, 2, and it passes through the point 2, 6, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got a circle that goes this way. Now remember, when we're using the center radius form, we know the center, negative 1, 2, we need a radius. Well, if you'll notice, the radius is just the distance between the center and 2, 6. So the first thing we're going to do is our distance formula, which if you'll remember is x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So if we plug those points in, we get the square root of 2, which is x from the second point, which is 2, minus x1, which is negative 1 squared, y2, which is 6, minus y1 squared, which would give us 2 minus a negative 1 is 2 plus a positive 1, which is 3. 6 minus 2 is 4. So we get the square root of 9 plus 16, which is the square root of 25, which says that our radius is 5. So now we're going to go back and say, okay, our formula for a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. So that would be x minus the x value of the center, which would be negative 1 squared, y minus the y value of the center squared is equal to the radius, which is 5 squared. Well, x minus a negative 1, which is x plus 1 squared, plus y minus 2 squared is equal to 25. And this is the center radius form of this circle. Now, graph the circle x plus 3 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 36. Well, looking at this, we know that the center is going to be negative 3 and 4. And by this being 36, that says that the radius is 6. So, if we come over and put negative 3, 4, there's the center. If we go down 6 and put a dot, up 6 and put a dot, back 6 and put a dot, over 6 and put a dot, and then we draw the circle that goes through all those 4 points, this is what it looks like. Now, this one's a little bit different. This time they're giving you the big equation, and they're asking you to find the center and the radius. So what we're going to do is rearrange so that we get x squared minus 6x plus something, and then we're going to group the y's. Y squared plus 10y plus something, and go ahead and move the negative 25 over to the other side. Now, if you remember completing the square from intermediate algebra or from college algebra, you take half the middle term, so half of negative 6 is negative 3, and you add 9. But if you add 9 to this side, you must also add 9 to this side. Then we're going to do the same for the second grouping. Half of 10 is 5. 5 squared is 25. So we're going to add 25 to this side, but if we add 25 to that side, we must also add it to the other side. Now, if you'll remember, when you factor, x squared minus 6x plus 9 is what we call a perfect square trinomial that will factor as x minus 3 squared. Same thing for y squared plus 10y plus 25. That's a perfect square trinomial that factors as y plus 5 squared. Then on the other side, negative 25 plus 9 plus 25 would give us 9. From that, we know that the x value of the center would be 3, the y value of the center would be negative 5, and 3 squared would give us 9, so the radius would be 3. Now, this one's a little bit different. First thing we're going to do on this one is let's go ahead and separate, but I'm going to go ahead and factor out a GCF of 4. So that would give us x squared plus x. Then we're going to leave a gap. Second group, pull out a 4. That gives us y squared minus 4y. Then we're going to leave a gap. And let's go ahead and add our 19 over to the other side. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Half of 1, because it's 1x, half of 1 is 1/2. Squared is 1/4. So we're going to add 1/4 on the inside of the parenthesis. But you notice this 4 was out here. So since we added a 4 times a 1/4 over here, we are also going to add a 4 times a 1/4 here to keep things balanced. Same thing for the next piece. Half of -4 is -2. Square that would give us a +4. So we're going to add 4 here. But on the other side, because we've got a 4 out here and a 4 in here, we're going to add 4 times the 4 on this side. So what we've got is 4 times, this is a perfect square trinomial of x plus 1/2 squared. 4 on the outside here, y minus 2 squared is equal to 19 plus 1 plus 16, which is 20 plus 16, which is 36. And then what we can do is divide both sides by 4. So we're going to divide this side by 4 and this side by 4. So we get x plus 1/2 squared. We get y minus 2 squared is equal to 9. So the center of the circle would be -1/2. The y value of the center would be 2. And the radius would be 3. Now you're ready to do your homework at the end of chapter 6.1.